The cold stone floor pressed against her skin. She hadn't moved in hours. Her body was weak, bruised, and hungry. Her hands were chained above her head, and every movement made her wrists bleed again. She didn't cry. She wouldn't give the humans that satisfaction. Outside her cell, the hallway was quiet, too quiet. It was always like this before something bad happened. She heard boots, heavy, slow, human boots. They were coming for her. Her heart pounded, but she kept her eyes closed. She would not beg. She would not scream. Her people had told her about humans, monsters, killers. They destroyed cities. They burned children. They had no mercy for prisoners. They only wanted revenge. And now one of them was walking toward her. Cell. The door hissed open. She didn't look up. She expected to feel a weapon hit her body. Instead, there was silence. She opened her eyes slowly and saw a man standing at the door. He wore a dark human military uniform. A high-ranking officer, judging by the silver marks on his chest. He looked at her. Just looked. No anger. No fear, she hissed. Through her teeth and pulled against the chains, baring her fangs. He didn't react. Instead, he walked forward and placed something on the floor. It was a blanket. Then, without a word, he reached for her cuffs. She flinched, thinking he would strike. But no. He opened the lock. One. Then the other. Her arms dropped, down like broken branches. She gasped from the sudden pain, but didn't dare move. Still no words from the human. She stared at him, confused. This wasn't how humans behaved. They tortured. They shouted. They laughed while hurting others. He took a step back. "You're free," he said. Finally, his voice was deep, but calm. Strange. Not like a killer's voice. She narrowed her eyes. "Why?" "You're not our enemy anymore," he said. She didn't believe him. "What's the trick?" she asked, her voice dry and cracked. "No trick," he replied. "You've suffered enough." He reached into his pocket and tossed a small pack of food onto the blanket. Then he walked toward the door. She stared at the food. It was human rations. Nothing fancy, but it smelled edible, real. Her stomach twisted in hunger, but her pride held her back. The human paused at the doorway. "Eat," he said. "Rest. No one will hurt you." And then he left. The door didn't lock behind him. She sat in stunned silence. Why? Why hadn't he hurt her? Why was he kind? This wasn't what she was trained for. She was told humans were demons. But this one, he had touched her cuffs with care. He had given her warmth, food, space. She picked up the blanket with shaking hands and wrapped it around her shoulders. It smelled clean, like soap and metal. Human things. She watched the food, waited for it to explode, waited for poison, waited for something, but minutes passed, then more. No pain. No tricks. Her stomach growled again, loud, angry. She picked up the ration and bit into it. Chewed slowly, carefully. It was dry and plain. But it was food. She cried while eating, not because she was weak, but because she didn't understand what was happening. For the first time in many cycles, she wasn't chained. She wasn't beaten. She was alive and warm. That night, she slept on the blanket, curled in a corner of the cell, and dreamed not of fire or blood, but of a human who had no reason to be kind, and still chose to be. The next morning, she woke up with a start. There was no shouting, no alarm, no pain. She was still alive, and warm. The blanket covered her like a shield, and the empty food pack lay beside her. Then she heard it again, those slow, heavy human boots. He was back, the same human. Same calm eyes. She pulled herself up against the wall, her muscles still weak. "What now?" she asked, her voice hoarse. The man didn't answer. He placed a folded set of clothes on the floor. "They're clean," he said. "Your size." She narrowed her eyes. "Why are you helping me?" "You'll understand soon," he replied. Then he turned away, giving her privacy. He stood at the door with his back to her. She had never seen a human do that. Not to an enemy. Never. Slowly, with caution, she changed into the clothes. They were plain but warm. They smelled of soap. The fabric felt too soft, like she didn't deserve it. "I'm done," she said finally. The human turned, nodded once, and stepped aside. "Follow me." She hesitated. "Where?" "No cuffs," he said. "Just follow." She stepped out of the cell for the first time in weeks, maybe months. Time had become a blur. The corridor outside was long, cold, and silent. Humans passed by, soldiers, technicians. No one shouted. No one pointed weapons. They just looked at her, some with curiosity, others with confusion. No one stopped her. She walked beside the human, still unsure if this was a game or a slow trap. "Why don't they attack me?" she whispered. "Because you're not a prisoner anymore," he said softly. That made no sense. "I fought your people," she said. "I know," he replied. "I killed." "I know that too." She stopped walking. "Then why are you doing this?" He turned to her. His expression wasn't angry, it was tired, because someone has to stop the cycle. She didn't reply. They reached a door at the end of the corridor. It opened with a soft hiss. Inside, it was bright. Too bright. The air smelled like clean metal and medicine. It was the medical bay. Rows of beds lined the walls. Injured humans lay on them, some unconscious, some missing limbs. Some had bandages wrapped around their heads. Doctors moved quietly. Machines beeped gently. No screaming. No chaos. She froze at the entrance. Her instincts screamed, "This is a trick." But the human gently waved her forward. A young medic walked over. She had soft eyes and a friendly face. "May I check her wounds?" she asked the commander. He nodded once. The alien girl tensed, but the medic didn't hurt her. She touched her bruises with gentle fingers, applied medicine with care, even smiled. The alien flinched every time, waiting for pain, but it never came. When it was done, the medic placed a warm drink in her hands. "For your throat." She stared at it. This wasn't real. She turned to the human commander. "I don't understand." "You don't have to," he said. "Just heal." A small voice interrupted them. "Commander." They looked over. A young human boy sat on one of the med beds, his arm in a sling. His voice was shaky. "Is that one of them?" The commander stepped forward. "She was, but now she's with us." The boy looked scared, but then surprised her. He lifted his good arm and gave her a small, awkward salute. Her chest tightened. No one had ever saluted her before. She didn't know what to do. She bowed her head. When she turned to the human commander again, she asked quietly, "What are you doing to me?" He replied, "Showing you we're not what you were told." Then he added, "And maybe you're not either." She sat in the quiet room the humans gave her. No chains, no guards. Just silence. And too many thoughts. Her fingers ran over the soft blanket. Her eyes kept drifting toward the door. It wasn't locked. It hadn't been locked since she left the cell. She could walk out at any time. But where would she go? Back to her people? Would they even welcome her now? Her eyes stared at the mirror across the room. She didn't recognize the girl staring back. Gone were the deep bruises and bloodstains. Her wounds had healed. Her skin looked clean again. Her eyes, softer now. But inside she was torn. She leaned back and closed her eyes. And then they came. Memories, violent, loud, burning. Flashes of war, screams. Her brothers and sisters in armor. Her mother shouting, "Never trust a human." She remembered when her training began. At age 7, they placed a gun in her hand. Told her, "Humans are demons. Shoot before they speak." She had believed it. She had killed. She had survived raids, seen her commander burned alive in a blast, carried injured soldiers while human ships fired from the sky. And now a human was offering her food and healing. It made no sense. That night, she didn't sleep. Instead, she sat on the floor, with her arms wrapped around her knees, watching the door. Any moment now, she thought. They'll come take it all back. But no one came. Morning light slipped into the room. Through the small window above. The door opened gently. He stepped in. The same man. The human. The one who hadn't raised a hand against her even once. He placed a tray of food on the table, warm soup, soft bread, and water. Still not poisoned. Still not a trap. Still not angry. I thought you might be hungry, he said. She didn't answer. He sat across from her. No guards. No weapons. Just two people, quiet, breathing the same air. After a moment, she finally spoke. Why are you doing this? His eyes stayed calm. Because someone did it for me once. She tilted her head. A prisoner? He shook his head. An enemy, long ago. They had a chance to kill me. They didn't. That moment changed everything. She looked away. I don't know how to live like this. You don't have to know, he replied. You just have to choose. She stared at the soup. Her hands trembled. I was told you humans take everything. He nodded. Some of us do. I was told you burn planets. Some of us did. I was told you don't forgive. The human looked at her, serious now. Then let me show you that some of us do. A tear slipped down her cheek before she even realized. She wiped it away fast, but the human had seen it. He stood up. I'll leave you alone, but we'll talk again when you're ready. Before he left, he placed something on the table beside the tray. It was a small photo. A human, woman, an alien child, smiling together, holding hands. That's my sister, he said. She adopted one of yours. After the war. He didn't wait for her reply. The door closed quietly behind him. She stared at the photo for a long time, and something deep inside her began to crack. Asterisk, she hadn't cried in years. Not when she saw her squad burned alive. Not when they buried her brother in the dirt of a nameless moon. Not when the humans captured her, beat her, and locked her in chains. But now. Now she stood frozen. And the tears came before she could stop them. It had started like a normal day. She was taken to the children's ward of the ship's medical bay. She didn't know why. She thought maybe they wanted to scare her. Maybe it was punishment. Maybe they'd finally show her how weak humans really were. But what she saw broke something inside her. A small boy. No more than 6, half his face covered in bandages. His chest wrapped tight. One leg missing. He was sitting on a metal bed, staring blankly at the wall. Beside him, a small toy ship made of folded metal scraps. She stepped closer. Silently, he noticed her. Instead of fear, he looked curious. You're the alien they talk about, he whispered. She blinked. You're not scared of me? The boy smiled faintly. You're with Commander Rain. He only helps good people. Her lips trembled. I'm not good, she said. I was the enemy. The boy looked down at his leg. So was the bomb that took this. He looked up again. But I'm still alive, and so are you. So maybe that means we both get another chance. She turned away. She couldn't look at him. Couldn't look at the metal bed. Couldn't look at the tiny ship. Couldn't stand the weight of that child's voice. She ran into the hallway, breathing fast. Her claws scraped the metal walls. Her legs gave up halfway down the corridor. She collapsed in a corner, and there, in the silence of a human warship, she cried, not the cries of pain, not the screams of anger, but something worse. The cries of shame. Of confusion, of a heart cracking open after being sealed for too long. Footsteps approached. She didn't look up. She already knew who it was. I told myself humans were monsters, she said without turning. It helped me sleep at night. It helped me kill. Commander Rain said nothing. Just sat beside her. She sniffed, wiping her face roughly. But your people, they heal. They laugh. That boy, he should hate me. Rain leaned forward, resting his arms on his knees. He doesn't hate, not yet. He's young. I don't understand how you can be like this. Neither do I sometimes, he said quietly. She looked at him now. His eyes weren't hard, they were tired. Like someone who'd seen too much but kept walking anyway. I hurt humans, she whispered. I know. I would have killed that child. If I had orders before. I know that too. He looked at her steady. But now, would you? She shook her head slowly. No, never. Then that's all I need to hear. She stared at him, confused. You don't want revenge? He stood up. I don't want more blood. I want peace. Even if it starts with just one person. He reached down, not with a weapon, not with cuffs, but with a hand of trust. That she hesitated. Then took it. He helped her to her feet. That moment, that single human gesture, felt heavier than any chain she'd ever worn. The warning came in a whisper, a broken message, buried deep inside the food tray delivered that morning. She almost missed it, but when she opened the sealed lid, there it was, a small folded piece of alien cloth, black with silver lines woven, in a code only her kind could understand. Her eyes widened. It was a signal, a hidden message from her people. The code read, strike in 12 hours, remote detonation, ship must fall. Glory to the cause. Her hands trembled. She dropped the tray. 12 hours. Her people were going to destroy this human ship from the inside, from the place she now lived, the place that fed her, healed her, listened to her. The boy, the medic, Commander Rain, they would all die. And the worst part? They would never see it coming. Her thoughts raced. They had trusted her, given her clothes, warm food, blankets. The commander had sat beside her when she cried like a child. He gave her back her name after years of being called prisoner. Now her old people were calling on her loyalty. Would she return to the mission? Or betray the only hands that ever reached out without a chain? She rushed down the corridor. Every step echoed like thunder in her ears. Crew members passed her but didn't stop her. No one blocked her way. She wasn't a prisoner anymore. She burst into the command center. Rain looked up from a glowing screen. What's wrong? She couldn't breathe. Then she shouted, you have to evacuate the lower decks. Now everyone turned to stare. Alarms hadn't gone off. No threat had been reported. Rain stood slowly. Explain. She held out the fabric. It's a strike order, she said. For my people. They're going to blow this ship apart in less than 12 hours. Where? Storage sections, cargo hold. Anywhere they could plant remote charges. I trained with them. I know how they think. Rain took the cloth and examined the symbols. Silence filled the room. One officer stepped forward. How do we know this isn't a trap? She faced him. You don't. He raised an eyebrow. I could be lying, she admitted. I could be buying time for my people. I could be the one who placed the bombs. Rain watched her carefully. She continued. But I'm not. I don't want to see another child lose a leg. I don't want to see your people burned alive. Not anymore. The commander said nothing for a long time. Then, finally, he turned to his crew. Begin full sweep. Check all support beams, cargo bays, vent shafts. If she's telling the truth, we have less than 12 hours. They searched for hours, and then they found it, hidden in the main power conduit, buried behind panels. 3 bombs, armed, connected, waiting. If they had gone off, half the ship would have turned into dust. The crew disarmed them one by one, and the woman, the alien who was once a soldier, stood silently, watching. She had saved them. Rain approached her later in the observation deck. You knew you'd be risking everything by speaking up, he said. She nodded. I was ready to be shot. He tilted his head. Why didn't you stay silent? You could have walked away from us forever. She turned her face to the stars beyond the glass. I walked away from my people the moment you gave me soup. She said, the moment your medic touched my wounds like I wasn't an enemy. Rain nodded. Then he took something from his pocket, a silver pin. He gently placed it in her hand. What's this? She asked. It's the emblem of this crew, he said. We wear it only if we're willing to die for each other. She looked at the pin, then at him. You'd let me wear this? She whispered. He smiled. You've already earned it. And, for the first time, she smiled back. Asterisk, the explosion never happened. The crew lived. The ship stood. The children slept peacefully that night. But not everyone was thankful. Some were suspicious. Too suspicious. And the very next morning, they came for her. Not with weapons, but with orders. 2 guards escorted her down a dark corridor, not the same ones who smiled at her days ago. These guards had cold eyes. She didn't struggle, but her hands tightened into fists as they led her through a steel door into a war chamber. There sat Admiral Corrin, the highest-ranking officer on the fleet. 5 captains lined the circular room, all human, all serious. Commander Rain stood too silent in the corner, his expression unreadable. The Admiral's voice echoed, You gave us information that saved the ship. She nodded. But we also found a 4th bomb, he said. Placed just 1 hour before we disarmed the others. Her heart skipped. What? It was near the ship's guidance controls, he continued. And someone accessed that panel using your DNA code. She staggered. No. I never. We checked twice. Her knees trembled. Someone had framed her. Someone on this ship wanted her gone. Maybe an officer who hated her. Maybe an alien agent still hiding. Or maybe. She looked at the circle of captains. Maybe. It didn't matter. They already decided what she was. Why should we believe you? A woman captain snapped. You were our enemy last week. She saved us, Rain finally spoke. You'd all be dead if she hadn't warned us. And maybe she gave us just enough to earn our trust, the Admiral said. Maybe she planned it all. Rain stepped forward. I don't believe that. But we must be sure. Then the Admiral looked at her. Give me a reason to let you stay, right now. She didn't blink, didn't beg. Instead, she stepped into the center of the room. If you believe I placed that 4th bomb, she said, then execute me now. I won't stop you. Gasps filled the room. She raised her chin. But if I die, and you find out I was innocent, ask yourselves what you just destroyed. Silence. You. Humans gave me a second chance, she continued. Your medic healed my skin. Your commander healed something deeper. And that child, he made me want to protect something again. Tears welled in her eyes, but she held them back. I will never betray that. The room was frozen, even the Admiral didn't speak for a moment. Then Rain walked up beside her. He reached into his uniform and removed his commander badge and placed it in her hands. I trust her, he said. If she's a traitor, then I was fooled. Punish me too. She stared at him, shocked. The man who had every reason to doubt her was now standing beside her, not in front. The Admiral leaned back. You're willing to risk your career for her? I'm willing to risk everything, Rain said. Because she already did. They let her go. No cell, no punishment, no chains. But the suspicion didn't vanish. Not from all. As she walked through the halls, some looked away. Others whispered. A few still stared at her like she carried poison. But she walked proudly now, with the badge Rain gave her pinned to her uniform. That night, she sat in her quiet room and wondered who set that 4th bomb. Not just to kill, but to kill her. Trust. The red light bathed her face. Alarms blared across the ship. Not a drill. This was real. Enemy. Ships had entered human space. Her people. The same species she was born to protect. Now aiming guns at the place she called home. She stood in the Command room beside RAYN. No chains. No guards. No fear. Only duty. We're outnumbered, said the tactical officer. They're targeting our fuel reserves. If they hit them, Rain cut in, calm as always. We lose the whole sector. The admiral turned to her. You know how they fly. You know their formation. She nodded. I know their blind spots. 2. He stared at her. Then lead the strike team. Her breath caught in her chest. You want me to command humans? Against my own kind? Rain stepped closer. You're not fighting them because they're your species. You're stopping a war before it begins. She looked around. Dozens of human eyes watched her, some still unsure. Some hopeful, but all waiting for her choice. She closed her eyes for 1 second, then opened them. I'll go. Minutes later, she stood inside a human dropship, armored, geared, ready. Beside her were 5 soldiers, all human. None flinched. Not one questioned her. In fact, one handed her a weapon and nodded. Commander's orders, you lead. As the ship dropped through space toward the enemy destroyer, her heart raced. She remembered training in caves, being taught that humans were monsters. Now she was about to risk her life to protect them. She landed hard, rolled. Blasters, fired. Smoke, screams, fired at the enemy ship was chaos, but she knew the path. She led them through shadows, vents, under power conduits. One soldier was hit. She dragged him herself. No hesitation. They reached the control core. Just in time. She input an override code 1. Only she knew. The reactor froze. The weapons powered down. She had stopped the attack. She looked at the blinking lights on the enemy console, her people's language flashing warnings. Then she whispered in her native tongue, I'm sorry, but I've changed. Back on the human ship, silence filled the command room. Until the crew erupted in cheers. The attack was over. The fleet retreated. They were safe. Rain met her on the landing bay. His uniform was dusty. His face tired, but his smile was real. You saved them, he said. They still might not trust me, she replied. Some will, some won't, he said. Then he added, but I do. He held out a small metal box. She opened it. Inside was a new badge. A human insignia, with her name engraved on it. This is no longer a gift, he said. It's your rank. She took it slowly. Her hand shook. Then she pinned it on her own chest over her heart. A place once full of rage was now filled with purpose. That night, she walked the ship's halls alone. No one turned away. Some saluted, some smiled, and one small boy, now healing, ran up to her and hugged her leg. You're one of us now, right? He asked. She looked down and smiled. Yes, she whispered. I'm one of you.